everybody, we usually would not be making a video like this, but there is information circulating about us that is completely untrue, so we just wanted to set the record straight, clear the air.
People see the clips. That's what can get us. That's what can get us in trouble.
Yeah, the clips make me not even want to have a podcast anymore.
That's not good. Father's Day and my birthday were the same exact day.
Yeah,
it kind of was a bummer because it was like those are 2 days that I
failed. I'm gonna be honest with you. I failed you.
Hey,
I'm so sorry.
but you know what? It's all right.
Is being intimate the same after pregnancy?
No. I always heard, oh, it goes back to normal, but it doesn't go back to exactly the way it was before.
I take our role as parents extremely seriously, and we love our children more than anything in the entire world, and we're very protective of our kids.
There's a saying, it takes a village to raise a child. But what happens when that village is the internet, watching your every move? Matt and Abby Howard, high school sweethearts turned digital darlings, have shared much of their lives online, transforming from college lovebirds into married content creators and eventually into parents of 2. Their relatable humor, polished vlogs, and modern love story captivated millions, especially during the isolated days of the COVID-19 pandemic. But recently, a family cruise turned into a PR nightmare, exposing a jarring reality of internet fame. When parenting is public, the margin of error shrinks to nearly zero.
TikTok's Matt and Abby Howard are facing criticism for leaving their 1- and 2-year-old sons alone in their room on a cruise.
What was supposed to be a moment of relaxation, some kid-free time, while on vacation, quickly spiraled into controversy when the couple allegedly admitted to leaving their 2 young children asleep in separate cruise cabins, reportedly monitored only via FaceTime. Viewers were stunned, screenshots circulated, timelines were dissected, and the internet did what it does best. It judged.
And so these people are outwardly sitting there celebrating the fact that they're a bunch of shitty-ass parents, saying we did this so we can enjoy ourselves.
The outrage wasn't just about what happened. It was about who it happened to. The Howard brand is built on family, trust, and transparency. So when their version of events appeared to change post-backlash, the damage was done. But this isn't just a story about a misstep on a cruise ship. It's about a bigger question. How safe are our children in the age of content?
What's up, dudes?
Matt and Abby's story reads like a Netflix rom-com. They met in 8th grade at theater camp, their relationship blossoming into a real-life love story that culminated in marriage during college.
But that summer when we were in that show together, I had just turned 15 and
I was
she was
14.
And we were just friends. Like, we didn't really know each other that much. Abby started to like me, but I didn't even really notice her in that way just because I wasn't really looking for anyone to date.
Then came the pandemic, and with it, the perfect storm for influencer growth.
Oh.
Can we switch?
Like many others, they turned to TikTok and YouTube to pass time, to connect, and to share. And share they did. Dance challenges, story times, pregnancy announcements. Their following grew, and so did the emotional investment of their viewers. But social media has a short memory and a long reach. As their influence expanded, so did the expectations. Audiences started noticing more than just the aesthetic, picking apart Matt's tone, Abby's expressions, and the shifting dynamics of their relationship.
Yeah.
Once we got from the hospital, it was a whole different ballgame, and we actually hit, I think, the lowest point of our entire marriage.
Okay. Are we going to talk about that on here?
Not in detail, but
Okay.
I feel like it's good for other people to know.
What started as a celebration of young love evolved into something more complex. A public parenting journey filled with highs, lows, and a whole lot of commentary from strangers. When the couple announced their pregnancy, engagement skyrocketed. It was the kind of authentic, intimate content that platforms reward and audiences crave. But with that came a new layer of vulnerability. Abby's postpartum recovery, shared in real time, became a storyline. Her tearful confessions were met with empathy, while Matt's tone, sometimes perceived as dismissive, sparked criticism.
I was having this like realization moment of, okay, like my life just changed big time. And for a little bit I was like, wow, like all my career goals have to go to the wayside. And I just kind of felt, I was kind of frustrated a little bit.
I could tell.
And I just kind of shut down and didn't say anything. Like I was just like quiet.
One especially viral moment came when Matt voiced frustration about his career feeling sidelined after becoming a dad. It struck a nerve.
Matt is gone recording music in Nashville, which leaves me to take care of our 2 kids by myself.
Not because he wasn't allowed to feel that way, but because it clashed with the visible toll parenthood had taken on Abby. For many, it had reinforced tired gender norms. The struggling mom met with indifference. The frustrated dad applauded for honesty. Another example that sparked significant reaction was their so-called sleep divorce, the couple's decision to sleep separately in the early stages of parenting.
My wife and I sleep in separate beds, but it's probably not for the reason that you would think.
While some saw it as practical and even healthy, others viewed it as a symptom of deeper issues. A podcast clip of Matt joking about the arrangement added fuel to the fire.
I guess that's the official term. If you don't sleep in the same bed as your spouse, technically it's called sleep divorce. Now, we're still sleeping together, but we're not sleeping together, if you know what I mean. Anyway, sorry, Abby.
In the eyes of some, the casual discussions about serious topics seemed to lack the care and nuance they deserved. As the cracks in their public image grew, Matt found himself at the center of growing backlash. Some began calling him the most toxic husband on the internet, and while the title is extreme, the sentiment behind it has resonated with a growing portion of their audience.
Imagine you make videos where you're just a good husband, and then you become successful, and that's your job, and that's all you have to do is just be a good husband. Like, your entire career, your life, your future, everything is just you being good to your wife. You would think with that clearly defined of a goal, plus the fact that you're married to this woman, that you'd be able to be nice to her. But that's just not how Matt Howard rolls.
That reaction isn't necessarily because Matt is overtly cruel or aggressive. Far from it. Critics argued it's more subtle than that. The issue, many say, lies in his tone. A persistent undercurrent of condescension, a kind of dismissive ego that Abby herself, at times, hinted at. There's no singular scandal that has tanked his image. It's a collection of moments, the joking remarks, the emotional tone deafness, that rub people the wrong way.
The song I wrote with Michael is called Buried in My Mind. This is the first sad song I've ever written, and it's an expression of missing the person that my wife used to be.
Some believe these behaviors are part of a broader, more concerning pattern known as weaponized incompetence.
Is that a kitchen towel you're using?
Yes, I am sorry. Sorry.
Please tell me that was at least a clean kitchen towel.
Yes, it should be.
Licensed therapist Claudia D. Luna defines weaponized incompetence as when someone consciously or unconsciously demonstrates helplessness in order to avoid certain tasks or responsibilities, resulting in others stepping in and doing the task for them. In Matt's case, critics point to podcast clips where he quips about not understanding birth control, or when he appears baffled by basic parenting tasks.
Oh my lord, that's a ton of poop. What are you eating, man?
To some, it comes off as harmless self-deprecation, but to others, it's a performance of helplessness that leaves Abby with the lion's share of the emotional and physical labor.
Like Father's Day and my birthday were the same exact day.
Yeah,
and it kind of was a bummer. So we're boycotting Father's Day for the month of June and celebrating it 3 months after my birthday.
This type of dynamic, even when subtle, can breed resentment. And for viewers who see these patterns play out in content, they can feel eerily familiar. Still, context matters. And some argue that Matt isn't malicious, just human. That he's a young father figuring it out in real time, under a microscope. And they're not wrong. There are creators who've done far worse. Fathers who've exploited, harmed, or traumatized their children for content.
Why did you do that? You ruined the carpet. Get out of here, mind your business. I didn't do that. Mommy, Dad, I didn't do that. Oh my God.
In comparison, Matt doesn't come close. But when your brand is built on vulnerability, even small imbalances start to feel big, especially when millions of eyes are watching. That's why the alleged cruise incident hit so hard. It wasn't just about leaving sleeping toddlers in separate cabins. It was about the crumbling trust between creator and viewer. For a couple that has built their image on parenting transparency, this decision, whether due to a lapse in judgment or poor planning, was seen as a violation of that unspoken pact.
As influencers with a large following and a considerably large hate following as well, Matt and Abby have accrued, you can't do stuff like this.
Worse, their response raised more eyebrows.
Where this whole controversy started, I guess, is a few days ago, Abby posted on her Instagram story that we were at dinner FaceTiming the baby monitors while our children were asleep in their staterooms. And people started to speculate and believe that we had left our children alone in their staterooms, and that is just completely untrue.
The story seemed to shift in real time. First, it was framed as a harmless moment of independence. Then, as the backlash swelled, explanations and justifications followed. But by that point, the damage had been done. In the influencer world, when the reality starts to fracture, rebuilding it becomes an uphill battle. At the heart of this controversy is a fundamental dilemma. How do you protect your children in a world where your income depends on their visibility? The debate isn't new, but it's gaining urgency. From child labor laws in content creation to conversations around consent and safety, creators are being held to higher standards. It's no longer enough to just be good parents. You have to perform parenthood in a way that satisfies an increasingly critical public. And that's the paradox. The more real you try to be online, the more performative your reality becomes. Matt and Abby's story is still unfolding.
This is super embarrassing, but I've been sleeping in our walk-in closet for the past month now. This is our guest bedroom mattress that I dragged all the way from our guest bedroom into here, and my wife's not a huge fan of this arrangement.
Their journey, like many modern family vloggers, is complicated. It's a mix of love, ambition, missteps, and growing pains. They're not villains, but they're not immune to criticism either. Their story holds a mirror up to a bigger conversation about parenting, privacy, and the power of perception in the digital age. And maybe that's the real takeaway. When children are involved, the stakes are too high to be casual. Whether it's emotional labor, online consent, or cruise ship logistics, the details matter. Because while followers can be lost and videos deleted, the internet never forgets.